Let's finish off our news and notes segment with a little talk about George Pickens because he went from, and we talked about it yesterday a little bit, ninth in the NHL in receiving yards, shot up as high as third this week, but he did fall down to fourth with CeeDee Lamb's performance last night on Monday Night Football. But
Yep.
George Pickens currently with 728 receiving yards sits fourth in the National Football League. Is there a chance that he finishes this year top 3 in the NFL?
I think there is. He was third until CeeDee Lamb went off.
Mhm.
At some point, the Cowboys got to see what they got in Trey Lance, or at least do enough with Trey Lance so that you could use him as trade bait during the offseason, something. But you have to put Trey Lance out there. You would imagine that's just going to tank CeeDee Lamb because Trey Lance is not a very good quarterback. And now you're looking at it going, well, George is just getting started, my friend. Just getting started. I think his numbers are 111, 74, something like that, and then 91 and 89 in his time with Russell Wilson. Feels like this is just the beginning of George Pickens and what this season holds for him. He's not going to catch Jamar Chase. I mean, Jamar Chase is unbelievable right now. Him and Joe Burrow are the best combination to ever be 4-7 in NFL history. I mean, that's the best quarterback, and that's the best wide receiver that has ever sat at 4-7. You'd have to go back and see how bad some of those Randy Moss teams were when he was in Oakland. But even then, wasn't playing like it. You're not going to catch Jamar Chase. You might catch Justin Jefferson, but I doubt it. You're still about 150 yards away from him, maybe almost 200 yards away from him. You're probably going to catch CeeDee Lamb. I think third is very easy for George Pickens to finish, which is nuts to say that in his third year he's third in the NFL in receiving yards. What's that mark? Like, what do you hit to be third? You're thinking like 1,300 yards, something like that? 400,000. That's how many men have rescued their nuts from stiff, unforgiving jeans, all thanks to the perfect jean. These jeans have enough stretch to accommodate Thanksgiving dinner and are comfy enough to wear all day watching Sunday football. Plus, even though they feel like sweatpants, they look good enough to be your go-to pants for date night. The perfect jean has the perfect size for everybody, and we mean everybody. They've got 6 different fits, waists running from 26 to 50 and lengths from 26 to 38, which means there are over 5,000 possible combinations of pants for you to choose from. So if you're a short king or actually 6'5", if you love a loose fit or are still in your skinny jean era, or if you're bulking up or cutting down, the perfect jean is the perfect option for you. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc, or Google The Perfect Jean and use our code ALLSteelers15 for 15% off. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code ALLSteelers15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code ALLSteelers15. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get the perfect jean.
I would think if he gets around there, yes. But I think the other thing for the Steelers is you look at these other teams, some of them are going to be in contention. Some of them are going to be out of contention and not caring about anything. The Steelers, even if they wrap up the AFC North, like I talked about a couple seconds ago, they're still going to be fighting for that number 1 seed in the AFC right there.
Oh, yeah.
They're right there around the Bills. They're right there around the Chiefs. They're right there around the Texans who can fly up out of nowhere. So they're going to be jockeying for position no matter what. And I don't think they're blowing anybody out for the remainder of their schedule. So they're going to be fighting in these games, which means George Pickens is going to be needed in all of these games. So I think that 1,300 is probably the number you're looking at. And I think that that is definitely on the table for GP, because I think that they are going to rely heavily on him down the stretch here to get the best position possible for the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. You got to look at George and say He's just getting started with Russ. He's had one 100-yard game in that time with Russ. There are definitely more coming. I don't know when they'll come, but there are definitely more coming. And he hasn't even had that like giant, crazy, like, oh my God, what is happening? George Pickens game that he will have. He will have one of those games. And if that's 200 yards, you've just taken a significant step towards being 3, maybe 2. I think there's a shot he could compete for 2. It's going to take a lot, but I think there's a shot he could compete for 2. I mean, it's not, if he finishes top 3, do you put him in the top 5 of just wide receivers? Like, is that it? Is that the placeholder? You got to, Justin Jefferson is up there. I mean, he's number 1, I would imagine. Tyreek Hill, Amon St. Brown, Jamar Chase. I mean, is there a shot for George to be 5 by the end of the season and really just claim that 5th spot over guys like maybe CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, 100%, because the way he's performing now, and it's making it hard for other teams to cover him because everybody knows he's the guy. He's doing this with no number 2. And yeah, we want Mike Williams to be that number 2. But even if Mike Williams is the number 2, then GP is doing it with Mike Williams as his freaking number 2. So I think you put him right up there. I think the 2 names that you cannot put anybody over is Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. But then I think there is an argument to be had with everybody else. I would put him up there with CeeDee Lamb. I would put him up there with Tyreek Hill. I would put him up there with, any other those other names that you could mention in the top 5. I think if he's able to do it this year, then you look at him and say, listen, he's more than just the go route guy that everybody thought he was when he came in his rookie year. He's more than just the circus catch guy that everybody thought he was in his rookie year. He's taking a team and putting it on his back because that's what he's been for the passing game for the Steelers, and a Steelers team that is walking right up to playoff contention, walking right up to potentially being a number 1 seed in the AFC.
I agree. We'll see what happens. Thursday could you imagine if he goes off for 200 yards and just soars to number 2 in the beginning of week 12? That would be nuts. But shout out GP, well earned, I would say. Well earned, well deserved to be top 4. I think it's almost guaranteed he finishes top 3.
I was going to say, remember what he did last time he played in Cleveland on a Thursday night. So yeah, could be a repeat of that, and hopefully a little bit more than just that one circus catch that he had that first year.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. See all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. And for any that you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them with just a few taps. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all accounts, easily creates a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track, and sees your monthly spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money is going. Get alerts if your bills increase in price, there's unusual spending activity, or if you're close to going over your budget. And the new goals feature automatically saves money for you without you even having to think about it. Whether your goal is to pay off your credit card debt, put away money for a house, or just build your savings, Rocket Money makes it easy. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you, sometimes up to 20%. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. They could save members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/allsteelers. That's rocketmoney.com/allsteelers. rocketmoney.com/allsteelers.